And I'm back once again. This is a video for members. This is my 2024 predictions. And let's start this video. Once again, thank you for being part of my channel. I wouldn't be me without you. And for those of you that watch Church of Spirituality, thank you. It means a lot. And that show up for my live streams once again. To get your 2024 lunar calendar that was sketched by my niece, an incredible artist. Her name is Bree. She goes by Emery's Fur, but this is available on my website, psychicannetteDion.com. $25. You'll have all the lunar phases all year, every month. For 2024. What we're going to look at next is the MAGA movement and what the fate of the MAGA movement is in 2024. So tuning in, the guides are showing me, my guidance is showing me, people get confused when I say my guides. My inner higher self is showing me that I'm feeling the Trumpsters being sort of nudged out of the mainstream and being looked at and regarded by the rest of the population as kind of the people on the fringe. They're fringy people. So I'm going to pull 3 cards about in 2024, what's the energy of the whole MAGA movement? And the guidance is saying that Trump will lose power, and they'll I'm seeing people just kind of looking around, kind of dazed and confused. Not stoned, just dazed and confused. Not necessarily stoned. In reference to the movie. But wait, I thought he cared, or wait, I thought, what's happening? Kind of losing their way. That's what I sense and I see. Let's take a look at the MAGA movement in 2024. Yeah, this is the card that I got for Nikki Haley too. So there's a consistent thread there of a thing of the past. This is MAGA being a thing of the past. And I just get the sense like the whole fade to black, in the sense like at the end of a movie it fades to black, like just fading out. And here's the 7 of Wands. It's really important that we all, kind of help them to see the light, because as the MAGA cult members start to come out of it, they're going to feel like they have no place to go. A lot of them, I'm just speaking generally. It's a general reading for 2024. But the sun is, when more and more people are gravitating towards the actual, like what's actually going on, not the alternative facts, alternative reality world. When the sun is shown on things, and that includes Biden's accomplishments, the MAGA Trumpsters, the ones that are malleable to some degree, when they actually see, oh, my neighbors are benefiting from, the economy being better and the factories being built. This is that the MAGAs, a lot of them are looking at Trump as a thing of the past. Like a can't win kind of thing. So I do see them fading away, in the sense that their fervor for Trump fades, and by May, June, we're going to see a lot less of the MAGA extremists making a lot of noise, blowing through their bullhorns, kind of. And when I say bullhorn, it reminds me of Lauren Boebert, because she talks like she has a bullhorn, but the bullhorn reference reminds me of Lauren Boebert's mother, who on January 6th was there with a bullhorn directing the insurrectionists that had gotten into the Capitol of where to go. They had maps. They had ways around. So I'm going to kind of just take a look at that energy of of Lauren Boebert in particular, because I know that her mom was in on the insurrection too. That's what I had seen. It was a while ago that I heard that news. And this is, yeah, Lauren Boebert. There's a Seven of Swords again. Because of all the evidence against her, she's going to have the Six of Swords, I mean. I think I called it the Seven before. If I don't put my glasses on, I get them mixed up. The Six of Swords is Lauren Boebert being connected to January 6th. It's not going well for her. The King of Wands is the DOJ. And the Page of Cups. Lauren Boebert is in major legal trouble. I'll just say that. She's in major legal trouble, and there's nothing she can do. I'm not going to go through all the insurrectionists in our government. I want to tell you that I've also seen that Kevin McCarthy is very busy behind the scenes drawing up lawsuits against Matt Gaetz. So I'm just going to look at that situation. I really want to go for what's going to go on this year. But because that's been popping up. And I do Psychic News Network videos Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, as you know, at 7 p.m. live stream, 7 p.m. Eastern. And this year, I'm going to do more frequent videos, like posted videos in between. Okay, I'm going to ask about Kevin McCarthy. Is it like, what's going on with him? I just see filing lawsuits against Matt Gaetz. He's really, Kevin McCarthy hasn't really gone away even though he resigned. I mean, he got ousted from the speaker seat. But he did resign. Well, this is how Kevin McCarthy is feeling, but he does have a case. He's feeling cast out and isolated. He's on the defensive. But this also indicates that he wants Matt Gaetz to be on the defensive. Because of this being cast out. That Matt Gaetz, you know, headed that up. And the Queen of Wands, yes. Kevin McCarthy is going to take legal action against Matt Gaetz. And I feel Kevin McCarthy going into the investigations, the ethics committee investigations, being involved in giving them information about Matt Gaetz. So I do think that Matt Gaetz will lose his seat. Let's take a look at the fate of the GOP this year. And I'm just doing a psychic reading, so I'm not going with, I want the GOP to fall apart. I'm just going with my psychic impression about what's going to happen with them. I do see a lot of with the GOP, just throwing stones kind of energy, like just throwing stones, throwing things like impeachment inquiries and impeachment hearings, and just still doing that. So James Comer, I think, is going to be held accountable. I see James Comer in handcuffs, which is symbolic of him being in trouble with the law. But the GOP in general in 2024. It's a big year. We're going to have to, you know, just really be on our toes, keep our eye on the ball, you know, all those metaphors, all those idioms. Don't go back to sleep kind of thing, but get plenty of sleep, but don't go back to sleep. This is interesting. The GOP in 2024. You know not to take the cards literally. These two cards are indicating that they will have no choice but to succumb to what the country wants. Because Joe Biden is smarter. They'll be so weakened that they'll have to cave in. They'll have to cave because whatever these Putin Republicans are doing it's just not holding water. And that's I attribute the fading away of MAGA to this. Like they it's a stalemate kind of, but they're gonna have to come to agreements with the Democrats. The King of Cups is here. This is indicating the Democrats taking back the House. That's what that's indicating. Because of that, you know, the Two of Cups and the Lovers, it's like, wait, you can't, that's not really extreme and in the GOP's direction. It's not indicating that they have any power. And the love of democracy of the American people is going to lead the way. Oh me, oh my. Let's look at, so much to read about for the year. Let's look at women's rights. Like this, okay, let's look at women's rights, and then we'll look at the Supreme Court. The guides are giving me this energy of women kind of climbing back into the ring, sort of. Symbolically, women climbing back into the ring and doing a knockout punch. That's my metaphor. Women, yeah. Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned, right? Women's rights. Women's rights. This is flipping over. Yeah, the women are wounded. Yep, the women are back in the ring. There are women dying from these abortion bans. The women are not going to stand for it. The suffragettes, the guidance is telling me the suffragettes, there are many suffragettes, women that lived, souls that lived during that era in the early 1900s that have come back, that are reincarnated. I keep on getting the Two of Wands today. That means there's going to be a lot of tossing things back and forth in regards to women's rights. I do see a large percentage of the country not having abortion bans. Right now, I see like 35% of the country doesn't have abortion bans in my mind's eye. But I feel like it's going to increase. Because Republicans can't win with these abortion bans. Because even, Republicans won't vote for somebody who's full on, we need federal abortion bans. We're not going backwards. We are not going backwards in 2024. There's no way. It defies universal law for us to go backwards. It defies this new shift of energy that we're moving into to go backwards. And the new energy that we're moving into is more vibrational, it's higher frequency, it's more 5D rather than 3D and 4D. So that we can't, we're not going to go backwards. I mean, this is the last vestiges of the evil dark patriarchy that's being kind of hashed out. They're like, no, we want to have control over women. We want to have our misogynist ways be the way it is. And by the way, I mean, I've seen some pictures of some of these white, misogynist, evil men in positions of power. I don't even know their names. I've just seen pictures, like the ones in Idaho, for instance, that are trying to have full-on abortion bans. They have evil spewing from their pores. So let's just pull 3 cards about the 2024 presidential election. I'm just asking the guidance. 2024 election. Now, what I'm being shown is that Biden wins. And what I'm being shown is a new approach to proving that Biden wins. And I don't know really what that approach is going to be. We can look at the cards and see what comes up. But I see some safeguards put into place so that we don't run into all this. The guides are saying it's constitutional stuff. Safeguards being put in place that are constitutional. Yeah, the Tower card. There's going to be a disruption. This is about, they're changing the way that the elections work in a particular way so that we avoid. Here's something. What Trump did taught this country that somebody can just do that, right? We've never had anybody do that. Anybody deny that the, election was free and fair and just go on and on and on and on about it. But because of that, because of the havoc that it's wreaked with this country, there are safeguards being put in place. So in the 2024 election, the Tower card is indicative of that we fixed the chaos, because I have the Magician. We fixed the potential. We safeguarded the potential for chaos. And the Ace of Wands is a win for democracy. I just want to emphasize that I'm not saying this to make you feel good, even though I want that. Even though I want to say these things to make you feel good. But I do want to say that you can feel good about it. The Magician indicates that we're going to use our proactivism to make sure that we have a safe election. People are going to get involved. Enough people are going to get involved. We know that. And you know to join grassrootsofdemocracy.com. So we're very involved. Grassrootsofdemocracy.com. We're going into our 3rd year. I started the group in January. 2 years ago. Let's look at Clarence Thomas and the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court, what I'm going to look at, well, first I'm going to look at Clarence Thomas, whether he's going to recuse himself for anything to do with January 6th. I still do have that vision of Clarence Thomas sort of slinking away, like just exit stage right or exit stage left, however that goes. The Supreme Court, Clarence Thomas. Well, we're happy. Clarence Thomas recuses himself. I know it's hard to believe, and that might have a different meaning, because I'm just seeing him removing himself. The partnerships that Clarence Thomas has had with these billionaires and his connection to January 6th are strong indications that he's going to start to lose power. I see him being less powerful. And this is January 6th. And the guidance is saying to save his wife. I don't know what that means. He's going to recuse himself from something to do with January 6th and also something to do with the 14th Amendment. Well, they're connected, of course, right? Because Trump was an insurrectionist. Trump incited the violence and sat there for 3.5 hours and just let it keep going. Let people die. Let people get beat up. Let the Capitol Police officers, be in medieval battle, So it's an interesting message that I get that Clarence Thomas recuses himself because to save his wife. So there might be something like if you step down, we won't hold her accountable. And just out of curiosity, I'm going to see if the pendulum checks out on that. Is Clarence Thomas going to step down in order to help? Yeah, to help his wife not be held accountable. I know it's not fair, but I really think we'd rather have him step down. And early, a couple years ago, I got that Joe Biden ultimately would appoint 3 new Supreme Court justices, and we're, 1 down, 2 to go. Ketanji Brown Jackson, and 2 more. I see him appointing 2 more Supreme Court justices. We're going to be okay, everyone. Let's take a look at our relationship with China. Let's see, President Xi, our relationship with China. The U.S. and China. We still can't trust China. Yeah, we still can't trust China. We're just kind of like, because of all the breaches of security, because of Trump really screwed up Trump screwed up the world, right? What comes to mind is Mary Trump's book, her subtitle, the first book she wrote about Trump, Too Much and Never Enough. The most dangerous man, and how the Trump family created the most dangerous man in the world. He really is. Trump served as the most dangerous person in the world when he was occupying the White House. So China, so the United States, we're flying slightly blind with China, slightly, just a little bit. There are things we need to know that we don't know. We're going to take what we can get from China in terms of let's just keep things at an even keel for the money and the trade for China. That's what we have on that country is trade. Yeah, just keeping things in equilibrium. I don't feel like President Xi will do... I don't feel like he wants to screw himself. You know, he's a narcissist too. And I just think he doesn't want to, you know, make it worse for himself. Okay. I don't know why I want to look at this, but Melania Trump, I'm just going to pull 3 cards about where she's going to be in 2024. I always see her back in her home country, Slovenia. And the reason I'm asking this is because it's really tied to what's going on with Trump. Yeah, quickly, Melania Trump, quick moves towards divorce. She's going to do some finagling to get out of her legal obligations. And, yeah, if Melania's going back, I think she'll take Barron with her. And then after a few years in Slovenia, Barron might want to come back. But Melania is swiftly working on getting out of her contract with Trump. And I think she's able to do it. I do think so. So let's look at the Middle East, even though I've already kind of given you a little bit of a read on that. Let's look at the Middle East. I do see earthquakes in that region. There's over 8 billion people on the planet. The odds are that, you know, a lot of people are going to be suffering at any one time. It's terrible. It's awful. There's nothing we can do except send money, send prayers. I just see more of I just see destruction. But it's not all war. It's natural disasters too. In the Middle East. I mean, I did say that I see it continuing, the fighting continuing and kind of plateauing out towards the end of the year. Let's hope that it's sooner. There's a lot of countries working really hard to stop that conflict in the Middle East. It does look like it will stop. It does look like the United States is a big part of, you know, getting aid to the hostages, the people that are suffering, the people that have nothing, which there are many, many, many. We'll probably do some meditations this year about the Middle East and Ukraine. But I do see things calming down, like I said, towards the end of the year. It's constant, around the clock, 24/7, trying to get this thing to stop. You know, just working on it. Many different countries with the United States. And we're so fortunate to have Joe Biden, like he was saying in his speech the other day. And if you watch this video, this 2024 video I'm doing right now, this one, towards the middle of the year, you might not remember, but I hope you do this, the first speech of the year that Joe Biden gave. And it's worth going back to when he mentioned he knows all the world leaders. And they pull him aside and they say, please don't let that guy back in. Don't let that Trump in again. I did see Trump at a rally in Iowa last night. So that was January. I think that was on January 6th. It was on January 6th. And he really was, I mean, it's not just that's the reason I said that he was sputtering out. It's not just that I saw that. I read his energy, Trump's energy, and he really is. He's tapped out. His fire is just very much dampened. But Joe Biden is, you know, Joe Biden knows what Trump has done. There's a lot going on behind the scenes that Joe Biden just knows. So, let me pull 3 cards on democracy. Kind of been hinting around, you know, kind of been hinting around on what happens with our democracy. Boy, this Two of Wands just keeps on coming up. It will be challenging. It's gonna be challenging. This is a card that the Five of Wands, when I pull this card, sometimes I've used the example with people I pull this card for, that it's like if you decided to take on a really important thing that was important to you, like say you decided that you wanted to run the marathon. This is the training to get to the good stuff, to get to the finish line, to get to the place where you're prepped and ready to go and to win it, or at least finish it successfully. This is American democracy. We're looking at what we could lose. This is surrendering to doing what we need to do as a collective, doing what we need to do. That means getting out the vote. That means meditating and visualizing. Don't underestimate the power of that. Our democracy will succeed, but it's not going to be the easiest thing to go through. But the guidance is telling me really strongly, but it won't be worse than what we've already been through. It'll be kind of a continuation, but it won't be worse. And let's pull 3 cards just for the year in general. And as I said, the theme for the year that I've gotten is Hope Restored. And let's see, the cards for the year. There's a building up from what feels like scratch for a lot of the world. Building from scratch, right? You can see that in these war-torn areas. Building up from scratch. Holding a vision for the new generations that are coming up, which the new generations that are coming up, they're a different kind of human. In general, and when I say in general, I mean it's leaning more, there's a larger percentage than not of the younger generation that are very evolved, that have been here for many lifetimes, that know what to do when they do it. And so this is 2024 is going to be a year of rebuilding from scratch, having a clear vision of what we need to do to rebuild, like rebuilding our Constitution and strengthening it, for instance. And this is the gains come with the hard work and the focus. That's what I get. All right, so before I go, I want to just say in 2024, every other week, whatever's prior to a new moon or a full moon, as long as Kathy Beal is in, we have our resident astrologer, we'll be doing those shows. I have a show scheduled with Catherine Glass, a Massachusetts psychic who lives in Concord. I have another show coming up with her. We haven't decided the topic yet, just psychic conversation. And a health show with Jonathan Glass, her husband, who has a healing center, and he's a healer in Concord, Mass. And that's going to be on the 20th of January. So those couple of things are coming up. And thank you so much for being a member. Please know that I have a lot of experience doing psychic readings, and if you get a psychic reading, you will get probably more answers than you even knew you needed or were interested in. So my readings include, not limited to, but what comes up a lot is definitely mediumship, definitely past lives come up. I'm a clairvoyant, and I also help you with any issues that come up in the reading that you might need help with. So psychic.AnnetteDion.com. And thank you for being a member. Please encourage others to become members. We have a psychic party the last Saturday of the month for an hour every month, and you get an affirmation in your inbox daily, and you get my love and appreciation as always. Don't forget, the 2024 lunar calendar is also on my website, psychic.AnnetteDion.com. It's PSYCHIC, AnnetteDion.com. And I'll do another video for the public, and it's January 7th. You can see it got dark out. And it is 4:37 Eastern time. It looks like the snow might be winding down. I wish you the best in 2024, and I will see you a lot this year. Please join Grassroots of Democracy by going to grassrootsofdemocracy.com. As always, namaste. See you soon.